Right. Welcome to this morning's London session with Harmonic Scanner and Pitchforks. Nice to see you. Let's start sharing screen. And we follow the same routine every day. So first of all, we have a quick look at the news. Now, I've just got up to date last night, I think, with my charts. So we are the 24th. Remember, you can put your sessions up here so that you can have a quick look at where you are. It helps the context of the pairs you're looking at and how they move, because they will move differently at the beginning of each session and at the end, and different pairs make different moves within each session. So the 24th, we've got Swiss news, and then later on some USD, so not too much, and nothing tomorrow. Chinese bank holiday next week. Okay, so let's get started. Start off with Euro USD, and I think this was the one where I found a 4-hourly scan. Now someone said that they were finding it, it takes a little while to draw the scans. Yes, it does, but you do get quicker as you go along. And if you just always think, some of them even I find difficult to spot, but you're always looking for a high to a low, to a high to a low, to a high, or vice versa. And you can use this brush mark. You can look visually or use the brush mark on the 1 minute, and sometimes you'll find that helps. So we can see that this Euro USD is already dropped off into an old scan. So I'm going to bring that one up. And let's have a look, see where that one is from. Sorry, that's it. And let me just hide some of that, so we're not getting too much to look at. And this scan is from the 18th of August. So it didn't actually complete the scan. Usually 89% of them will complete down to the C point and out to the extensions. This one didn't. It did hit the median. And then here's the new scan where it seems now to be wanting to go down to that level. And I think we've got quite a nice point here. So it's been in downward trend and crossed over yesterday at the open of market yesterday. And normally, as we know, we don't like to predict, but if the euro is going down, then Great British Pound will be going up. So I sometimes check across correlating pairs just to make sure that is what's happening. So if we look back at what's happened here, we can see these previous lines of support and resistance since the open of market. So between the quarter theory and the pitchfork, and then there's your hourly candle. If you're wondering why there's a spike, look below, and there's our hourly fake out to the opposite side, designed to try and fool us that we've made the wrong decision. So here's our resistance, our floor. So price for 3 hours has not liked breaking through that level, and the 62 has come up there. So either it's going to carry on in here, but we're not interested in it unless it breaks through this level. So we've had a break and a retest of the let me look at the time there. There's the hour up here. So we did get a break and a retest of the pitchfork. We've had a pitchfork touch. It's then come up here. So that doesn't, sometimes price will do that. It doesn't necessarily mean if I draw a channel on that it is going the opposite way. Sorry, let me find the right one. Parallel channel. So something like, take that magnet off. So then we can tell visually if it is breaking our channel. And we'll do a lesson one day on drawing channels across different time frames so you can see how the market moves. And let's just move that. So you can trade the channel. Samantha Gonan likes to trade the channel. So she'd be looking at, say, getting in there up to there, above the 62, but she probably wouldn't get in this one because there's a pitchfork in the way. So things like that. So now it's broken that channel, but it's still struggling, although the 62's come down here. So if we put this on here, so we wouldn't normally be taking, we'll put that in white, otherwise might get a bit confusing with the scanner. Let's look at this distance between our pitchfork, 48. So we wouldn't be taking a quarter theory trade, but in this instance, and we'd probably want a slightly bigger stop loss. I don't usually like doing that. I don't usually bother with trades where I have to do that. In this instance, we could, because we've had the break and the retest of the pitchfork there, and then there's that's sort of on the hour up here, and it's broken the channel. So if it does a break and a retest there, we could get in on this trade. But we need to see if it is going to break through, because it hasn't managed to do that for 3 hours, even though the 62 now is curling down again. So I'll just put a line on there. Just put it a little bit outside and set an alarm. Let's see if it manages to break through. And I always extend right so that it doesn't matter what time frame it makes that break. Sometimes, you know, we can wait 3 hours or wait all day for a setup. So that's Euro USD. Let's go to Euro GBP, see what the other euros are doing. This also was the new scan. Oh, that was 22nd of September, this one. Let's change that to green while we're here. So if we're right in what we've been talking about on Euro USD, then we'll be expecting this pair, the euro, to be going down. We've got this wedge here, we don't want to get caught in that. So we've got the 62 has crossed under, and I just want to see what it's done before. So here's the D point. It's a sell scan, so if it's a sell scan, the D point will be on top. If it's a buy scan, the D point will be at the bottom. So your X and D for a sell scan, you'll start with the top high point for the X, 5 reversal points. So your X and D will be at the top, and vice versa for the buy. So for the sell, sorry, the X and D at the top, and for the buy, the X and D will be at the bottom of the 5 point, a bit like a you know, a butterfly shape, and there is a pattern called a butterfly. So what's price been doing? We're only interested in sells because that's 52 pips. So sells down to this solid white line, the median. Those are the rules on this strategy. It's just broken that quarter theory there, which is a good sign. It's managed to form a lower high. And the 62 EMA has crossed below the 15-minute, but it's just as you can see since the end of, as you'd expect on a London pair like Euro GBP, New York and all into Tokyo, it just ranged along. It's made a slight move to the upside. That's the pre-London sort of fake out. Tokyo will often go the opposite way to the way it wants to go. So it should be going down. So we've got that in our favor. We've had the quarter theory broken. We've had the fake out to the upside. It's a sell scan. It's respected it quite nicely. And it's just coming along here. What I don't like about it, obviously, is this cheese wedge gap. 10 pips stop loss on this one. So I wouldn't want to get in and on the pitchfork break and retest, because as the gap narrows, that's only 10 pips. So again, it could do this kind of stall out and decide it's coming back. It's not a very volatile fast pair because they're such similar currencies. But what I do like about this is that price will have to make a decision before too long. It's got to come out of this trap. So again, I know what I'm looking for. I don't have to think about it anymore once I've drawn my alert on. And then however many hours later it is, that means I'm not having to do all this thinking again. Now, why is that important? It's important because the whole point of this strategy is that precision of the 1 minute and being able to get in and save those pips. So like yesterday, I said, oh, well, I'll take that EN1, even though I was late getting in, and sure enough, it did 33 pips. But the more pips you can pick up on the precision of the candle turn nearer to the pitchfork, number one, the better chance of your 2-to-1 risk reward. And number two, if you pick up 5 extra pips on a trade, then as we've said before, that's 1%. So over 100 trades, you've doubled the account over the year, which, you know, is phenomenally powerful in terms of compounding your account, because at the beginning you can think that you're just flatlining the whole time, and it's not much fun, is it, making a cent or a couple of dollars here and there. But it's that power of compounding and sticking to the rules. Sticking to the rules stops you losing big time, and like a snakes and ladders board. And that it's discipline and patience, and the power of the compounding eventually leverages that flat line into like an XY axis we were taught at school, into it shooting up the vertical line, and Chance teaches that. So quite wicky candles on this. If we look here, it's having trouble. It's wicked off that pitchfork there. It's formed some lower lows, but then it's come up again, so it's just working its way around. So there's no buy on this trade, so that's the only markup I want to have on this trade, and that's fine. So we know we can, in confidence, leave Euro GBP to sort itself out until that alert goes off, however long that takes. Euro CAD. Let's see what's happening here. Now, interestingly, that is going up above the 62. Now, sometimes pairs do move at different speeds, but I was rather hoping this one would be going down, but it isn't, it's going up. And I'll just see where that scan is. So just to check you've got the same scan. So that's a D point of the 10th of September. And you can see on the hourly that it hasn't moved a great deal, just 100 pip range since, so that's nearly 24 days, so that's 2 weeks, 100 pip range. The 62 crossed above, so this is giving us an opposite message to the other euro pairs that we've looked at. So Euro GBP seems to not to be wanting to go down, and we're looking for a sell. And then Euro USD, let's come back to that one. That is still coming down. It's just done a retrace. So I'm saying to myself, oh, this is interesting. Is the euro going to go down today? And we'll look at GBP pairs in a minute to see if that's correct on the correlating pairs. Whether, you know, are they just stalling out? Is the euro stalling out and then going to go and turn and come back up? in which case we're not thinking about selling the euro at the moment. So that sort of thing. So on the euro CAD, let me look at the 15-minute. Let's take that line off from yesterday. So it's on its way up. I wonder whether we've got a fib that we can put on. Can't really see one. So we've definitely got euro CAD buying at the moment. So that's opposite to our other euros at the moment. I'll show you on the pivots. So you can see your trend is up. But it could be turning because we've just got that breakthrough on the 15-minute time frame, the blue line, and it's stalling out there. So let's see if that. So we have a decision to make. Let's look at the, that looks like quite big. That's 85. So we've got the quarter theory as point of interest there, or we've got this level here. And I'm just going to draw a trend line on because it looks like an upward trend to me. And here's our trend line, anchor it down here. And that indeed is an upward trend. If we draw it, you can have touches either side. So you can have touches underneath or to the top side. So if you draw it tighter on, just put it in white, then you can see it's broken that trend and it's saying it's going to come down. So I'm now thinking it probably wants to come down. I could draw that as a wider trend. Oh, I think I've just slipped off my, sorry, slipped off my way I was drawing it. Let me just take off that extend right line. So even if I draw it wider, you don't want it on current price because current price is moving. I'm looking at those points there and those points there. So I'm beginning to think that might be turning. I prefer that because I've got far more touches on it with all that there. So I'm going to put the trend line here, but there's no trade on EuroCAD at the moment, so we can move on from it. Not interested in that at the moment. Extend, stick an alert on there, see what happens. So that's EuroCAD. And Euro JPY, we've had a downward trend and it looks like it's broken that. This is a scan, it's coming back into a scan. Let's tidy that up as we go. Just so you can check your scans. Now, what does this tell us? That tells me immediately that I'm not sure that D point is now correct because it's formed that low down on that quarter theory. But regardless of whether it was on a quarter theory or not, this was a scan I drew early hours of this morning. So when you see something like that, so far from what is obviously the lowest low and protected by both the outer Fibonacci and quarter theory, and then you can see price has respected that. That's an hourly candle there, so it's an upward trend back into the scan. That says to me that D point probably should be down here. So at this point I would go and check the scanner on this pair. And then we'll look at Euro NZD and move on to some others. H1, is it that one? So if we look here, just check. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this was one I drew. So this is giving us the D point of the 21st of September. Change your local time zone, bottom right to your local area. It always defaults to +3, or it does for me anyway. 21st of the 9th at 1400 for my time. That's 1300 UK. That's Euro JPY H1. Just check that. So 21st of September at 1400. Sure enough, that D point's moved. So that's the sort of thing you need to learn to read. Put your magnet on. And let's move that D point and see what we've got. So having the magnet on helps place it accurately, and then you'll need to come down to the 1 minute just to make sure it's on correctly, because it's this that enables us to get away with a 10 pip stop loss, having these accurate pitchforks and to be able to trade them over a long period of time. So you can see it just needs to be put onto that 1 minute one there. Don't need to bother about the pink one, but I usually do. So lock those on, then they're not going to move on you. And let's have a look at the setup. So we've, have we had a break and a retest? Go to the 5 minute. Oh, well, it's just one of those scans now where it's pointing down on a buy scan. So that's not ideal, because usually we like the pitchforks, you know, parallel at the worst, going up, because this is a buy scan. X points and D points are at the bottom. So it's one of those 5%ers. They're not the most brilliant shapes, because obviously the pitchfork's going the opposite way to what we want to be doing. So let's see what the gap is here. That was 7 pips off there. So it hasn't really done a break and a retest yet off this new D point. And we've had a 62 has crossed under. So but it has broken that downward trend here. If you put that there, lots of touches there, and it's broken that, so it seems to be going up here. Let me look at I can't put a fib on. So at the moment it's ranging between the 62 and the 15 minute. Now we want to buy this, but we didn't get a break and a retest. This would have been very nice. So I would hope, if the other euros are going down, that this is going down, and eventually it would give us a break and a retest that back there. But as we know, once it starts to move off this point with any pair of, sometimes they don't come back to this point, and then we've got to wait, because that up to there, that's 87. So again, we've got that quarter theory option, but we are now thinking about a buy on this, which is different to what we think the other euros are doing. So plenty of other things to go at. So I shall do this for the moment. Doesn't mean to say I won't come back and check it before the alert goes off, because why is it doing that? because I will be curious to see, ideally I'd like the euro to be selling and then come back up. But this one just looks like it's pottering around in the middle at the moment. So nothing on euro JPY, and let's come to euro NZD. This was a new shark scan. So you can see it's now failed off that D point. The D point's moved. That's what happens with sharks. I did draw it and put it in the Pitchforks group last night, but I put that there as a reminder to tell us all today that it's not valid for us to trade. And you can see the 62 has just crossed above. So this euro is still going up, which says to me that invalidates quite a lot of the thinking on these. So, although euro NZD is a very fast pair, so this might be turning slower because this is just coming down to, going to set our alarm off in a minute. Euro CAD, euro JPY. So we need to come back to the scanner to see what euro NZD is doing. Can't remember what. I'm pretty sure it was an hourly. Oh, there it is. That's that one. So this is the latest scan, and it's moved the D point already here. So it just looks like it might want to now start solidifying. So entry 1787.3, somewhere around there. Down, sorry, wrong one. You don't want to get involved in sharks. So this one's some way off for us. You don't want to get involved in sharks until entry point 1.7794. So round about there, down to take profit 1.7709. That's 84 pips. So either you don't enter a shark until take profit 1 because of this problem with the D point moving. It's to do with shallower angles that form this particular pattern of the harmonic scanner. You'll find it in the Forex 400 series in the Academy. Some really excellent tutorials by Christopher Terry if you want to dive deeper into the whys and wherefores of how each pattern is formed, because he can actually remember all the angles and draw them and all the rest of it, as you'd expect. So 84 pips, so you don't want to get involved to it until there, or 42 pips, halfway, 50% to take profit 1, which would be 1.77514, 50%. So I'm going to, let me, oh, that's saying 15 minute. Yeah, 15 minute. Just let me measure the scan because it looks like a nice big scan. C to D, 437. So that gives us over 100 per leg. So a nice strong scan. Sorry, I need to mark where the D point is. It's now the 24th at 10 a.m. on my time. And that's moved since I drew it a few hours ago. So I'm just going to move my settings. Pick up that pink line. And I want that now, I'm going to put that at 1.775514. Thereabouts. And that's going to go there. And then we're going to move this. Sorry, we need to be on the 15 minute. You need to draw your scans always on the time frame that they are told to you on the scanner. So on the 15 minute, I'm looking, you can take the brush mark, you can, when you're drawing your scans. So we want the 24th at 10, which is that high point now there, 10:30, just there. So let's get rid of that. and look at that like that. And you can see I need to take off the lock. And move that up to your high point. You can see that's a doji indecision candle, wicked off. Well, it's sort of a doji. There's another one there, and then the green sell candle. 10:15, so 10 o'clock. It's putting it on that one actually. So I will leave it where it says. Just check that. I know you might think this is fiddly. It's on that last buy candle, and actually it's 10:15. So I am going to make sure that's correct, because once you've done this, then the last buy candle, which my gut feeling said it should be that, because that's the highest one, before that forms the end of the Elliott wave before it starts to turn down. I'll move that up there. Take off our brush mark. Come down to the 1 minute just to check, and you can see we need to put it on the green. 10:09. Well, I'm going to put it on the nearest high one, on the green one, on the 1 minute, because that looks best to me, rather than over here, the nearest candle to 10:15. That is 10:25. So, well, it's as broad as it's long, isn't it? I've gone 10 minutes that way rather than 10 minutes that way. That's the highest one with the wick, and we are looking for reversal points, so that I think is best. And I've locked those on. Come down and let's look at our trade. So we can't, where's my, looking for that, the writing, there it is. So that we've got that, we can see what we're doing, because we need this as a reminder. I've just moved it off a bit. 77514. That'll do. Right, so we're only interested, although this is a big scan, isn't it? But it's a shark. So ignore the other rules. Don't get involved in a shark until it conforms to this pattern, even though we could be taking buys and sells. It's still in a strong upward momentum. That's 15 minutes, sorry. I need to come back down to the 1. So it has moved on the 1. Still can't see my writing. Oh, Euro GBP's crossing, if you want to take a look at that while I just finish this. Five, 2, 7, 5. Just moved it off a bit. I must ask Chance that actually, because that means you could take buys or sells and off quarter theory, but I'm pretty sure he would say, as it's a shark, conform to the rules of 50% down to take profit 1. So we've still got the 62 EMA saying buy, but it has curled round, and we've now got price coming down through quarter theory, but we're really not interested in it till down at this level, unless you want to be brave and do something at the quarter theory level. It looks like it's turning, doesn't it? But I wouldn't take anything up there. Let's look at the gap between the quarter theory. 22, you want 15, it doesn't cover the pitchfork. So the first entry would be, the first point at which you could possibly enter would be the second entry point, 1.7794. 1.7794. Let's see how that marries up. 1.77. 694, which is all the way down here anyway. I'll just put myself a note on there. Second entry meaning first entry, you don't get in on that. That's your second entry on a shark. I don't know why there's 2 entry points. It must be, yeah, I've never actually asked that question. I will look that up. Okay, let's go to Euro GBP. There's nothing else on Euro NZD. So that is dropping nicely. Let me check what's happening on the other ones. That's coming down. Euro CAD coming down. And Euro USD coming down. So at this point, you've got a choice to make which ones you fancy, which one you're going to go for. Don't go for both. I saw a drawing yesterday of someone that had taken, not in our teams, but 2 euro trades, one against the GBP, and then a GBP trade. So they'd mixed up all 3. They'd made 60 pips, but obviously showed total lack of clarity and judgment and very risky strategy. It had paid off for them, but it showed they didn't understand correlating pairs and managing your risk. So Euro GBP, just wait for that break and a retest. So as I said, we had this big break and a retest, but it's big, isn't it? It's not all together. We've still got the 62 needs to catch up. So don't panic when you see it suddenly dropping like this. It's just not worth it, because you can panic, think, oh my God, it's plummeting straight down. But it's much safer to wait for that break and retest and look at the 62. It can equally just decide it's going to peter off and you know, tail off in here. That is a strong momentum. Suddenly started to move. And that's moved off 5.7 pips. So we just want to wait for it to curl round, come back in our favor, and then curl round again to get in. So we'll leave that one for the moment. I'm going to look at, okay, they're all going off again now. I haven't looked at, I want to look at Gbpaud next. So I'm waiting for that to come up and set that alarm off before we look at getting into that. So I want to, that's GA. Could look at GA while I'm here. So GBP is going the opposite way to the euros, which is good. Don't have any trade on this at the moment. That last scan I had was the 22nd. So we've got an upward trend there, nice lot of touches there, and we've got it coming up to a break and a retest off the pitchfork. And have we got, what's the gap? Take that down there. So if we put GA, you need 15, just. So we're looking for, got quite strong momentum now. We've got 62 coming up. We've got everything in our favor for a buy on GA. But again, we'd like to see, we might not.
Sir.
Hiya. Hiya,
Hello.
how are you?
Fine. Yeah, regarding this pair,
Yeah.
The price is over my prediction. The 1.79500.
1.79.
Yes. Yeah, it was my target previously.
Oh, for it to go down?
Yeah, so it's past 2 quarter theories. So I think it will hit the 1.8 1000
Yeah,
and go down.
yeah, yeah, that would make sense, wouldn't it? Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm just going to... So when you get into a trade, you'll have your trend line, and then you'll have your trade trend line. We'll just go back and look at Euro GBP in a minute. So how many? That's already moved off. That's already touched 20 pips. So because so we had one break and retest, 2, 3, 4, and then upward momentum and two strong impulse candles. So if this does come back and is kind to us and gives us that nice big break and a retest, stays above that orange line, which then breaks through this white pitchfork, then we're good. That would be a very nice safe entry. And as Nuno said, fast pair like this would be looking for that 34 pips up to the quarter theory next major level on a fast pair like this. So I'm going to, I think I'll just change that to green.
Because if you go to the 4-hour.
Yeah, we don't usually go out that far on this strategy though.
Yeah, sure. But I only want to show you something.
Oh, okay.
Can you see the quarter to 1.8 1000?
Yeah.
You see the touches?
Oh yes, I can, and I can see that that very nice banker sort of shape, the teacup shape. Yeah.
So it's a strong resistance.
Yeah, yeah, that would make sense, wouldn't it? I wonder whether it wants to go up as high as that, then 1.825, because that's the outer extensions of this scan. So we might be able, it might be going up to 1.81, as you said, and then even up to 1.82 thousand. Yeah, do you think it might go up to that because of that's the outer edge of this scan?
Extensions, yeah.
And I can see these levels here.
Yeah, there are a lot of touches.
Yeah, so that could be a good move for us, this one, and it is a fast pair.
Maybe today it go to the next quarter theory, and perhaps next week go to the outer extension.
Yeah, next week's like a different lifetime away on this strategy. Let me look at Euro GBP. So, oh, it's just come back for that retest. So I'll take this on demo because I'm teaching. But this, so we've had the sell, there's the buy. I'm on the 5 minutes, sorry. So we want to see it come back down below that quarter theory. Haven't quite got that covered up there. And it's stalling out on that quarter theory at the moment. My preference when I'm trading is just looking at what Gbpaud's doing there. Let me just come back to the 1 minute. I like the pairs where you get the bigger pips, obviously. And then I'll just take one of those a day or something. And that's me done for the day. So I've got that in this scan here coming back for a retest. There, that looks like a nice buy on Gbpaud coming up once you've got it back there.
Yes. it will hit the quarter theory 171,000.
Okay, great. That's lovely. Thank you.
Yeah,
That's good
I
to know.
lost my time.
Okay, so there's a nice setup there just as we come to the end of the session. So Euro NZD we're not bothering with at the moment. Euro JPY looks like it's going down actually. I might move that down to there. It's not one I trade a lot. GBP JPY. That was me making a note down there. That's just, that should be going up. The orange is crossed above and above the quarter theory. Let me see what that gap is there. Oh, 41. So no trade for us on GJ. It's sort of in the middle of nowhere. HourGlass I haven't looked at. That was a new scan. This is an example at the moment of a failed scan. It's a failed scan. It's dropped right off the end of the D point. I wouldn't be trading that. People saying which ones. Someone asked me in Messenger, how, you know, there are any other scans you don't draw. Well, if I saw that on the Harmonic scanner, by the way, we're 5 to 10 minutes before the hour, so I wouldn't be getting into any of the trade setups that we've seen, which is why I'm coming back to look at some of this for you. Oh, there's HourGlass, and that is either the D point moving, or I can see that actually it is coming back round, but it's the D point has moved. So I would be following that on the scanner to see whether I should move that D point rather than leave it there. Probably my gut feeling is to move it because you can see the end of the red, the sell, you know, this is your Elliott wave, 3, 4, 5, something like that, I think it is. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, unless it's going to move even further down. So that needs watching before you trade that. Euro CAD, we've set our alert. It's just not doing very much. GCAD, it's turned there. I wouldn't want to get in there. I'd want it to come. You did have some quite strong impulses up. I wonder whether it is going to give us that. That would be 4 pips off, which is quite a lot of pips off. But I know sometimes Chance gets in where he's got a strong impulse move. There's a little doji. 2 strong candles up, a wick off, a strong impulse down. The 62, wait for that to come up here. Really, I'd like to see it give us a bit more. It is turning there, but a bit more of a bit closer to the pitchfork before taking that one. GN we haven't looked at all, just for fun. What's that doing today? That's the 15-minute. Where's my, oh, there's the quarter theory. I was wondering where that was. Oh, that is an interesting point. For those of you that like the wildest pair in the market, if you're unsure, please take on demo because you can easily lose 100 pips as quickly as you can gain them on this pair. But it is for those more experienced on here, like Charlie, you have, and I'm not advocating he takes it, but look at this long stall out here for since virtually the, so that's for 7 hours. Long stall out, couldn't break through that quarter theory, decides it's taking off. 62's coming up, beautiful point of entry. Please don't take this if you're new to this strategy on a live account. Absolutely do not. It's a very, very harsh pair. And it's given you a lovely That's 26 pips, not unusual. This lovely break and a retest. Just let that 62 come up a bit, and then you've got 45 pips up to there. But it's not worth taking the risk if you do, very, very low lot size, because it will come right back on you. It's so fast. So it can easily come back on you 20, 50 pips before you know it. Can't get that down there. Okay. But that does look very good for people like Connor and Charlie, Justin. They might want to, I might be encouraging them into bad habits, but there you go. GBP USD. I had that down there. Back in an old scan. From, oh, that was that one, was it? Somewhere around there, February. The reason I'm highlighting it is to make sure it's still correct and on point, and it is 10th of February, that one. So it should be going up if the euros are going down, and we've looked at the others the same way. That's from yesterday. Take that off. So it's come out of that scan. But I'm not sure if I've got a new scan to put it in. So let me just fade that one down. Take that off. And have I got another scan? I haven't got any hidden. I think I've got it between scans, unusually. So I've got that scan we've just come out of, and then I've got this next one up here. So GBP USD, I'm not sure I can do anything with that for you at the moment, because that is going up, and I've got nothing here unless I try and draw a second pitchfork, and I don't want to stop to do that now. Just finish running through these. That's GA has taken off beautifully. Perhaps we should have stayed and watched that, because I would have got in that. Slightly bigger stop loss you would have needed. So GA was a good one for anyone that was following that. Euro GBP just coming down now. You want that 62 coming down. It's quite small volume on those candles. Just past the hour, so hopefully a sell coming up on that. You do want that 62 pointing down. You don't want it to flick back on you and then get caught in that for hours. NZD USD, not sure. I don't want to discuss that one at the moment. That's in a sell. It's between scans. I wonder if that was one. Did I have? No, I had a new scan on NZD CAD. This one. And it's a shark, in case you haven't drawn that. So that D point might be moving, in which case it might move down to that next quarter theory point. And Euro USD has rejected off again, as we thought it might, and is just trucking along in the middle there, not doing anything at the moment. And that's it. So the best one was that GA and GN. GN is on its way up, but probably a bit too far off the pitchfork. Unless it comes back down and tests, it might come back down and test something, might test that 62. I might keep an eye on that. And that's about it for this morning. GCAD on its way up. Unless anyone's got any questions, so I'll just stop sharing and see if there's anything in the chat. Nothing in the chat. So thanks very much for joining. If you've got any questions or you need to talk to me or you want a one-on-one Zoom for the strategy, please do ask. I'm very happy to help. Not a problem at all. And I will not see you tomorrow as it's Friday. And I'm probably not going to do a review of the week tomorrow, Fork Friday, because I'm trying to get away next week. And I've got, still trying to organize stuff. So I will see you all on the chats today. Bye for now.